right. I think it's more or less 1 minute past 1. So I think it's about time to start. Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to this webinar about simplifying meeting management with Workplace Central. We have really looked forward to this session, this webinar. Today, your host will be me, myself. My name is Jakob. I'm a senior account manager at AskCody, but along my side, I have my very good colleague, David. But David, maybe you should introduce yourself to those who don't know you yet.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jakob. Yes, as Jakob said, my name is David, and I'm a product manager here at AskCody, and very happy to be hosting this webinar together with you, and very excited to show you what we have in-house with Workplace Central.
And as you can see, we have decided to make this webinar in our record studio, so we could be here together, David, and not on our own laptop. So we will also try to make this as close to you as we can. We think this could be a brilliant format to do webinars going forward. So for the next almost 45 minutes, we will look into our newest tool. And when I'm saying newest, it's actually a tool that we have been developing on for quite a long time now. But we really see now that Workplace Central is about to really adding some really good value to our customers. So we will look into this new tool today, Workplace Central, and we've prepared an agenda for you. Of course, let's look at that. The first thing we will start with is a simple walkthrough of Workplace Central. So more or less a small demo of the tool, so you can have an idea of the features and functions of Workplace Central. After that, we will present some use cases. Of course, there is plenty of use cases we could look into, but we have picked some of the most common ones we hear from our customers, and we'll give you some insights on how you can use the tool on a daily basis. And of course, we will wrap it up with some conclusions, and maybe even more important, when we're done with that part, we will have the Q&A session. You are more than welcome to put any questions you have along the way, and if it makes sense and fit in, we will maybe also answer along the way. But please bring a lot of questions in the end. We will be looking very much forward to those. So that is the agenda for the next 45 minutes, more or less. And I think, David, you should just kick it off.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jakob. And to start with, let's actually go a little bit general and talk about Workplace Central, what it is, and how does it look like, what can it do, and so on. Workplace Central is a comprehensive meeting management software, part of our meeting management platform, designed to centralize all the meeting-related activities within your organization. It displays meetings in a calendar-like view, like you see here in this slide. It facilitates easy rescheduling and provides details on meeting services like catering or any IT requirements associated to each of the meetings. This is built for centralized roles such as a conference services manager or a meeting coordinator, ensuring that there's a seamless coordination of meeting rooms, attendees, and associated services, which empowers teams to manage and oversee organizational meetings efficiently. So this is what really the tool is about. To look a little bit from a higher perspective, Workplace Central is actually part of an integrated, comprehensive meeting management platform that we've been building across the years in AskCody. Central was built to address the complex challenges of managing meetings in an organization. By centralizing meeting-related data and services, it really empowers centralized roles to efficiently coordinate meetings, manage resources, and ensure smooth communication between teams. The platform aims to resolve meeting conflict proactively, streamline service requests, and provide a clear overview of meeting activities, thereby aiding or assisting in a better decision-making and resource allocation when it comes to rescheduling meetings. The ultimate goal is to create a simplified and customizable and efficient meeting management process that caters to the dynamic needs of modern workplaces. So what we see here in this little chart is how we see the AskCody meeting management platform, which starts with is made of different components One of them is meeting booking, scheduling, and employee experience. So it's all about finding the right space to host your meetings, making sure it has all the equipment and is placed at the right location and it has the right capacity for your meeting. We also include there the visitor management and visitors experience, because we really believe that in order to set the organization up for success for meetings, everything needs to be catered for when it comes to someone visiting the organization. Because if we are able to provide a seamless visitor experience, we set the tone for the rest of the day. We make sure that everything is met in terms of needs for the visitor, such that there are no surprises and the reception can be well prepared for anything that can happen during the day. The third component of the integrated meetings management platform is the service and vendor management, because of course, when we host meetings in-house, there's perhaps something that we require in terms of catering. Maybe we need a few cups of coffee, or perhaps an even more complex scenario where we have a lunch buffet, or we have a special table arrangement, or specific IT equipment that we may need to host our meetings. So all of these things, all of these components are actually involved in the meeting management process, and they all need to be in synergy. They all need to work in order to make sure that the meeting actually happens, and not only that it happens in the right way that's expected, but that if there is any unexpected scenarios that will come through, the right people in the organization would be prepared for making sure that will not risk the meeting from not being successful. So these different components are the ones that compose our meeting management platform, and we have built Central to centralize all of the information and the operations and the data needed for these teams in order to function. And we're very excited to show it to you. With Workplace Central, organizations get quite a few benefits, but I would like to highlight specifically 3 here, because I believe it's what really moves the needle when it comes to managing meetings. The first one is centralized management. We provide an interface to streamline meeting planning with centralized control and integrated services. So the interface actually puts together everything related to meetings in a comprehensive view. Thanks to that, we also believe organizations get an improved communication, where Central comes in and enhances team coordination with shared notes and easy rescheduling that makes it easy for everyone to know what's going on, when and where. And then we offer also real-time synchronization with Central, because as our integrated meeting management platform, Central is also natively integrated with Microsoft Outlook. So whenever there is any changes in rescheduling in Central, these changes are automatically synchronized with Outlook without going to any middleman or storing it in a separate calendar system. This is thanks to our deep and native integration with Microsoft Exchange. And in this way, we avoid having any double bookings or any potential conflicts when it comes to managing meetings. And we believe that this is really, really powerful, because this provides confidence and empowers the users with the control they need when it comes to managing meetings. So I believe that this is the 3 key benefits that user gets with Central. Now, how about we take a quick look at the tool?
Exactly. I was about to say enough talking, and let's dive into the tool itself. No, thanks a lot for a very good introduction of the benefits and why we have also developed this tool. David, it's really on point what you're saying, and I think now it's also I'm excited to see what's going to happen now, because now we will show the tool, and I'm pretty sure that for those who haven't seen it before, it will be similar because familiar, sorry, because it looks familiar with something you see from maybe Outlook today, but there are some extra benefits, and I'm excited to hear you tell about these extra benefits. So yeah, dive into it.
Yes, thank you. Let's actually just jump into the Workplace Central right here. So let's start with a little walkthrough, and let's actually see what Workplace Central can do and what are the different things that we see in the interface mean, because it's quite a lot of information that we're seeing here. So Central provides a comprehensive overview of all meeting-related activities within the organization, presenting them in a user-friendly and kind of familiar interface. It's a calendar-like interface that aggregates meeting schedules, attendees, room bookings, and associated services such as catering or IT requirements or any kind of facility requirements, delivering a centralized platform for efficient meeting management. That said, let's look quickly here at the interface. What we see here is a calendar interface where we, in the columns, have the names of a series of meeting rooms. In this case, we have 4. We have Alpha, Bravo, Echo, and the Executive Boardroom. And on the vertical axis, we have the times of the day. The cards are, of course, different meetings that are happening in the organization during the day. And what we are looking at is meeting rooms in the Boston location, which we can see right here. There are a lot of visual elements here in this interface, and the way they were designed was to provide an at-a-glance view of everything that's going on in the organization in terms of meetings and activities. So when it comes to icons, for example, there are also quite a few visual aids across Central, which you will hopefully identify when you start using the tool, which makes it easy to identify the nature of some meetings, for example. Right here in this example, we have a recurring icon that has been crossed. And this means that this meeting was part of a recurring series, but it has been rescheduled outside of the original location. So this gives an idea and relevant information for the meeting manager to know that, well, what I'm doing here is actually working with part of a recurring series. We also have some different icons. For example, here we have a little note. I hope it's visible, which indicates that the meeting have additional information attached to it. We'll see how that looks in a moment. Right here on the general overview, we can choose. We have quite a few flexible options that allows us to customize the view and make it really our own. And it all starts by the location. So we know and understand that organizations in many cases have different locations that they either manage rooms or have meeting rooms in. That said, up here in Workplace Central, you have access to all of the locations in your organization, so you can actually flexibly choose which information you would like to see. In this case, we're in Boston in floor 1. We also have a date picker right here. We're able to see activities that will happen in the future and also activities that happened back in time. So we always have a clear overview of what happened and will happen in the organization. On top of that, we have even more flexibility because we can customize the number of meeting rooms that we see here. In this case, I have 4 meeting rooms because those are the rooms that I manage. These are the rooms that I'm responsible for. But if I was responsible for even more meeting rooms in the organization in the Boston location, I could have them all right here. I'm going to click on Add All, and then all of the rooms and in this case desks that are associated to this location will simply appear here. I just click on OK, and it will update immediately and show. Well, in this case, we don't have any meetings, but it will show automatically the meeting events that are located there. I'll just go back to having the view as it was, so you also see how easy it is to customize this interface. Any changes you do here to the interface are saved for the next time you log in, so you can really make sure that the tool is made for you and it really is built to support your workflows as a meeting manager. Last but not least, here in the toolbar that we have the possibility to change the way in which we visualize the events that are happening in the workplace. So if it's easier for us to understand this on a list format, we can simply, by clicking on the list button, change the way to visualize it, so that we can very easily also not only search for a specific meeting. For example, if I search for Q4 the meeting that I was looking for appears there, but also I can easily sort in any way that I choose. In this time we have time, but if I would like to sort by, let's say, organizer, I could very easily do that as well, just by clicking on the column, and then the tool will customize the view according to my needs. We believe that this is very flexible, and this actually helps people have even more control in the way that they manage meetings. Now, that was a bit of a general overview of the tool. Now, looking into the meeting cards, what can we see? If we open one room, for example, right, one meeting, for example, let's open this one, Q4 financial projections. We can see all the information about the meeting. We can specifically see which meeting rooms are invited to the meeting. In this case, we have Bravo right here, and we have additional information about this meeting room, where we have the local time, we have the time zone, and then even services assigned to it. We also see information about the services or service requests placed for this meeting, so that I, as a meeting manager, are in full control of what is ordered for this meeting. And should there be anything else that needs to be ordered, because perhaps the meeting organizer, in this case Jesper, comes and tells me, then I can very easily just click on edit here and add an additional item to that request. So if I needed to add, for example, an additional cup of coffee, I could just change this from 3 to 4 and then send the update. And then the request will be updated automatically or immediately more. And this really gives really good synergy in accessing different elements of the platform with a power shortcut that with a couple of clicks allows you to customize the service request associated to this meeting. On top of that, we have here on the right information about the organizer and attendees. So we know that the reception is notified about the people that will be attending this meeting. So as we can see, this provides a really good overview with everything that's related to the meeting, not only the location, but service requests associated to it, and also the people attending, so that when I'm managing meetings, I have all the information that I need in order to make the right and the best decisions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is basically it. This is what the tool can do.
Yeah,
at least.
Brilliant, David. Thanks a lot for the introduction to the tool itself. I've just learned that our camera is freezing, so you can hear us, but you might not see us. At least there's still a beautiful picture of the two of us, I see. so that is brilliant. As long as the audio is there, I think that's the most important thing.
All right.
Before we move on to the use cases, I think I'll put in a couple of questions for you, David, because we have learned a lot when we have shown this product to customers along the way, and we say some of the most commonly questions we get is for instance, when we look at the drag and drop functionality, can everybody move around everybody's meetings? Mm-hmm. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me actually just quickly showcase that functionality right here, because this is one of the most powerful features that Workplace Central has. So when managing meetings, it is very important that the person with the role of making sure that everything fits in the organization, that they have the power of basically moving stuff around and making everything fit in the right place for meetings to be successful. That said, with Workplace Central, we have given users just that, and the ability to just reschedule meetings by dragging and dropping them in the interface. So if we see right here, let's take this meeting as an example, facility inspection review, and we can see that while clicking and holding the mouse button down, then we can just simply drag and drop the meeting to a time or location that we of our choosing. So if let's just drop this meeting, for example, a little bit earlier in the day, and just like that, I've rescheduled the meeting. Now, back to your question about, well, can anybody then or everybody go ahead and move everybody's meetings? The short answer is no. And then the long answer is that we have provided 2 levels of access to Workplace Central in AskCody. One is read-only, which basically allows users to see absolutely everything and interact with the with Central in the way that I just shown. So customize their view, see different days, see different locations, and even a toggle between list view and grid view. But they won't be able to move any meetings. They won't be able to reschedule any meetings. The other level of access that we have given is to these power users that that have the task of making sure that everything works in the office smoothly. And these people actually have the power of rescheduling and moving every meeting that they need to move around. Of course, when we do this, everybody will be notified about their meeting being moved, and every attendee will also get a notification whether that should be the case.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is that it is up to your organization to decide who is allowed to actually have this function of drag and dropping, and then there are the read-only availability for those people who actually can use the tool but are not allowed to move around other people's meetings.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Great.
Yes. So
Thanks.
It's those two layers, and it's up for organizations to decide who has access to what.
Yeah,
as it should be. Yeah.
And then you showed something we are pretty excited about. So the notes in here.
Right.
Maybe you can go to the meeting card where you showed the note before, so we can keep it alive here. So we quite often also get the question around who are these notes for? Will the meeting organizer, so in this case Jesper, who is the organizer, will he also receive the notifications about these notes? Will he see them? Will the attendees also see these notes?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Really good question. And this note field is separate from, let's just say, the description field of the event in Outlook. That said, the people who has access to Central will be able to see this note, but the information here will not be shown to the organizer or the attendees, and then they will not get any notifications about the meeting management team writing here. So this is meant to be a communication interface between the meeting management team, so that if there's anything specific to this meeting that they need to share with each other, then they can write it here. A good example is, in this case, we have a request placed on Boston Catering, as we can see right here, where we have an order of mixed fruit, coffee, and water bottle, 3 of each. In Boston, the catering is not in-house; it's actually an external provider. And that provider has issued an invoice for us that, according to the organizational process that we have, we need to process that invoice and then pass it over to the financial department when the meeting is over, because there may be some adjustments here and there. But what we have, what we do that works for our organizational workflow is that we have linked to the invoice right here from the notes, so that is very easy for people to for the meeting management team to go in and jump and see, well, okay, here is the invoice. If there are no changes to the request, I'll just send this invoice to finance as I'm supposed to, and otherwise I'll just make an update to the request to the catering firm and re-upload or relink the invoice there, and then send the information updated. So it's more meant to be as a communication tool between the meeting managers, and not necessarily with the organizer attendees.
Great. Thanks, David. And maybe also another thing to mention here about the notes is also, we know that a lot of meeting managers out there, so people managing bigger conference meetings where several teams are probably involved in arranging a meeting. The communication flow can vary a lot. It can go from everything from sticky notes to a piece of paper, an email. So there's no, let's say, streamlined way of communicating. And that's also where we believe that this notes field about the meeting itself can also create some value that streamline the communication between the meeting managers.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It kind of becomes the single source of truth, getting rid of post-its, or kind of replacing post-its, hopefully. So if there's anything related to the meeting that I need to communicate to my colleague as a meeting manager, then I'll just type it here and they will do the same.
Yeah.
So
great.
So it's there.
I'm looking at the time, and just before we jump to the use cases, could you please again, David, say very, very short, who is Workplace Central built for?
Right. So as we can see, especially with the drag and drop feature, Workplace Central has quite a few powerful features when it comes to managing meetings. This means that perhaps the tool shouldn't be accessed in its full force by everyone in the organization, but it is meant to be for the people with that usually have a delegate access to not only other people's calendars, but also the calendars of different meeting rooms, so that they can make informed decisions about rescheduling meetings in the workplace and making sure that everything is smooth. Mm-hmm. So it is meant to be for these power users that manage not only theirs but someone else's calendars as well, to make sure that everything fits smoothly.
Yeah, great. And in terms of the stakeholders internally, that's also where we see it is quite often office admins, receptionists, conference service managers, meeting organizers. So yeah, that is the personas that this tool is built for. And exactly. And while we are talking about this, I can see that the camera is back on, so that is brilliant. I think in terms of time, we should move on to the use cases.
Let's do it.
Because I know when we start to dive into that is also a good question opener. I've seen that we got a question from Mikael. Mikael, I think we will jump to the question when we get to the Q&A. Just in terms of keeping the flow here, I hope it's okay, Mikael. But we will definitely get back to you on the question. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's
use cases.
Let's.
As you and I have also said in the very early beginning, we could jump into a lot of use cases with this tool, but we have decided to focus on two of the, let's say, most commonly use cases we have discussed with customers about and what we hear from the market. And the one is when you are, how can you manage meetings when there is a booking conflict? So a scenario is it could be that we see that executives, managers, they need a specific meeting room right now, mm-hmm. and they call their PA or secretary to arrange this, and then the PA figure out that the specific meeting room that the manager need is actually booked right now. So they need to do some rescheduling of this meeting, and that is a very common scenario. And we really believe that this is where Workplace Central can offer something to these people. We'll look into that one. Then we also see a very common scenario that equipment malfunctioning, meaning that if we have a meeting room where something is broken, it could be the video conferencing system is broken in the meeting room, and we have found out that during the day. So the on-site support team, help desk team, they need to go and maintain this room. But in the meeting room, there is of course meetings booked. So how can we handle that with Workplace Central in a efficient way?
Yeah.
So I think that is the fly-in to showcase how can we actually solve this in a very good way with Workplace Central.
Perfect. Let's dive right in. Let's look into what we can do in those use cases. So the first one we talked about, perhaps managing meeting conflicts. Let's see how we can do that with Central. So if we zoom into this meeting, this stakeholder alignment meeting happening on Echo at 8 a.m., the use case here is that Anita, which is the host of the meeting, asks their assistant to move the meeting to Bravo, which is the meeting room that we can see in this column right here, and put it at 1:30 p.m. instead. Now, the assistant sees that Bravo is actually unavailable at this time because there's already a meeting booked here called ERP Implementation Update, hosted by Andreas. So, as the assistant has the power to reschedule events in Central, they can just simply go ahead and respecting the organizational process that they have decided, which basically means that we can reschedule events, but we should respect, when possible, the start and end time of them. Then we can just very simply take the ERP implementation update, and as we did before, just drag it and drop it here so that we have made room in Bravo for the new meeting, and then the ERP implementation update will be happening When we've done that, then we can just simply fulfill Anita's request and actually take the stakeholder alignment meeting and then drag it all the way to Bravo and make it start at 1:30, right here. There's some things here in the interface that are worth mentioning. And as you can probably see, there are a few gray areas here, both before and after the meeting. And that is what we call buffer time. Mm-hmm. Now, buffer time is an allocated time both before and after the meeting for the services teams to be able to provide any services and prepare the room for whatever is asked for during the meeting. So whether that is a table arrangement or, bringing catering to the room or setting the tables, turning the tables nicely, they have time to both do that before and after the meeting. So Central also provides you with that overview. Now, we have drag and drop meetings here, and we have very easily rescheduled things around so that Anita's request was fulfilled. So her meeting was moved from Echo to Bravo and placed at 1:30. And then we moved Andreas's meeting for Echo and making sure that everyone is notified about the changes as well. That was the first scenario. This is this is what shows the power of Central. Also, as you can probably see in these cards, we have a few elements here that says Boston IT facilities with the pending state, Boston catering, and some other requests there. These are actually service requests that are placed and associated to the meeting, which again are shown here when we open the event. Now, as we can see, the requests are to be delivered now at 1:30 p.m. here in Bravo. And then before we move the meeting around, they were supposed to be delivered at Echo. The fact that they show here and they appear here in the card means that they followed the room, because if they were detached in some way, they would completely disappear from the card, notifying also the relevant people about this case. But what we're seeing here is the follow the meeting intelligence that our platform has, that makes it so that not only the service requests that are associated to the meeting, but also visitor lists associated to it and registered at the reception, that they follow the meeting as it is as it gets rescheduled. And this we believe is a really big time saver for organization and a really good pain reliever when it comes to managing meetings, because all people need to be worried about, all meeting managers need to be worried about, is placing the meeting cards wherever it fits, because not only everybody will be notified about changes in the meeting room, but the services teams in charge of delivering the services for the meeting will also be notified, just like the meeting organizers. So simply dragging and dropping is an operation that triggers a lot of actions and a lot of communication alignment with everybody associated to the meeting. And we believe that this is really, really powerful, because it is a very simple way of providing this functionality. Yeah. So this is how we manage booking conflicts with Central. This is how it can make it easy for users to do so. Jumping into use case number 2, you mentioned something about equipment malfunction. So let's actually dive into a scenario that can tackle that. Mm-hmm. Looking into the meeting room alpha, which again I can click here in the column and I can see information about what the meeting has or the meeting room has. Let's transport ourselves into this day, and let's imagine that these are the meetings that will happen tomorrow, but let's imagine that we're already in tomorrow. And Jakob, in this case, which is the host of the Enterprise Tech Review meeting here, notices that there is an equipment malfunction, and it reports it to the help desk. Jakob says that the Teams video conferencing equipment needs to be serviced, and therefore the meeting room needs to be cleared for maintenance. So what the help desk would do is immediately try to see if there are any other meetings happening during the day in this room, and then they need to do something about those meetings there. They can see that the meeting hosted by Cecilia, the global market analysis, happens almost right after Jakob's meeting, so it needs to be moved to a different location because, again, we need to do maintenance on this meeting room. What they can do simply is, again, respecting the organizational rules about keeping the start time of the meeting, they can just simply drag the meeting to Bravo, for instance, and then put it there. So making sure that it starts at the same time, notifying again Cecilia and the attendees about this change. And then what they can do, I'm going to close this two windows here. What they can do is that they can simply, by using Outlook, and because they have delegate access to the meeting room's calendar, they can simply go ahead and block the room for the rest of the day. The way they would do it is simply by opening Outlook here side by side with Central. We can simply drag here to create an event. Let's actually do it from here to make sure that buffer time is there. And then we call it maintenance. And to this event, we're going to invite facility at AskCody.com. And we will mention that the Teams video conferencing equipment needs service. Type there, and then we simply send this request. What I did here was I placed a booking in Outlook in the calendar of the meeting room because I have the delegate access as the help desk. And then what you will see is that in a few seconds, Central will also display the event. This is thanks to the native Exchange integration that we have, where we make sure that there are no double bookings and no conflicts when the meeting is actually booked. So it will show up here in a few seconds. So like this, we have simply been able to see how easy it is for me as a help desk staff to very simply just go in, not only manage the meetings that were perhaps in conflict because of the let's just say the maintenance that needs to be done in the room, but also making sure to notify the facilities team, which I did with following my organizational process, which is inviting them to this meeting and then telling them what's wrong. Mm-hmm. So just like this, we've streamlined the communication of many different stakeholders, as you could probably see, and very easily, just with a couple of clicks, just done an operation that could take a few phone calls and a few emails to coordinate normally. So this is the power of Central. This is what it empowers many managers teams with a simple interface to perform these complex operations.
That's brilliant, David. Thanks a lot. I'm looking at the time, and we are always time optimistic, you and I. So I might have to keep up with the pace here. So I think we could maybe just jump to the next slide here. We might also have to go through that one because we've been through that.
Yep.
So when we are looking at this tool and the benefit of it, this quote, I'll just read it up here. Workplace Central is the reliable right hand for meeting managers, offering a clear overview, easy rescheduling, and instant updates, simplifying meeting management across your organization. I think that is the quote that can somehow sum up the tool. And I really think that I hope that it is easy to see that with this tool, we can actually streamline a lot of communication between the different meeting managers or stakeholders within an organization that work on a meeting, and those people who typically are the glue in between the meetings. This is the tool that can provide them with better overview and a work tool for the daily operations.
Exactly.
I think we should actually jump to the Q&A since we only have 5 minutes left. We could easily put some more words on it, but I think it's about time to maybe jump to this part. And I think we should start maybe with Michael's good question. So David, I think you're the one to answer this, right, even though I might also know the answer. But anyway, isn't it possible to view 2 meeting rooms from different locations? Is the question understood?
Yes. So have different rooms across different locations.
Yeah.
The short answer is no. The short answer is we have the current filters of Central, at least, are to customize the view according to any meeting rooms you manage, but it's within the location that you have selected. Yeah. So it is on a location basis. It does not support a cross-location interface.
Good. And Michael, I don't know the case scenario and why you might have something in specific on your mind, and I think that we will also mention this in the very end. But have a talk with your customer success manager about this because I really think it's a good question. So let's keep the dialogue open on this topic. But thanks for the question; it's really a good one. Anyone else who have a question? Please put it in the chat. We received actually some questions beforehand for some of the. There are some who signed up for the webinar who are not able to participate, but they will look at it, the recordings afterwards. But a couple of them is around the service orders for the meeting. You're also talking about that with our, let's say, intelligence layer. We when you move a meeting, as you showed, the service orders from either the canteen or facility or whatever it is, it actually follows the meeting, and that's brilliant. But let's say that there is a last minute change, so 50 minutes before a meeting, what will then happen? Can you say something about that, David?
Right. So what you're asking is if an event is, for example, rescheduled, or if 50 minutes before the meeting, I show up and then say, "Hey, I need an extra cup of coffee. I need. I actually need to move them to a different meeting room and such." That's a really good question, because it happens in the way this is handled is we do it by respecting the rules of the service provider. So the AskCody meeting management platform, and in this case specifically, the services part of it, I would say is perhaps the most flexible part of our platform, because in there you can customize very granularly the what we call the preparation deadline and preparation time that is needed for the provider to provide this request. That said, depending on the nature of the request and depending on the item that it's ordered, I would say it's not the same to order an extra cup of coffee than ordering perhaps an extra lunch or ordering a cake or something that perhaps takes a lot more time, right? So providers can set rules that the rest of the organization kind of needs to follow, because it's them who are able to say whether they can or cannot provide a service. And Central follows also those rules. So if a meeting is, for example, rescheduled and the provider's rules are not, let's just say, not respected, the meetings can still be rescheduled, but then the request will be also updated according to that. So if the provider, for example, cannot provide to that meeting room for some reason, then not only the provider will know that the service request needs to be delivered somewhere else, but also the meeting organizer will be told that there's something that needs attention in terms of the request that they made.
So the AskCody platform notify the organizer.
Exactly. So we still keep everyone notified about any changes in any, let's say, last minute additions or adjustments to the meeting events. And it happens already in the AskCody, all within the AskCody platform, and then sends notifications via email.
Maybe to close this one as well, I actually had a very good discussion with one of our customers the other day, actually, about this topic, where she also told me she's a meeting coordinator where she's taking care of all the external meetings and the external meeting rooms, that the last minute changes of, let's say they want another meeting room because there's extra attendees or something like that. It's quite common that happen, and they know that this, as you said, the service provider cannot work with late minute changes, but sometimes they can, because an extra cup of coffee, as you said, that is easy to maybe manage, but they need to actually hand carry that process. It's not something the system can do. So it is already something they do, but it's important to say that the system or the platform itself always notify everyone involved, even though you're doing late minute or last minute changes.
Exactly. And it always can be customized to follow the process that the organization has. So there can be a lot of rules, or there can be no rules as well, whatever works for the specific organization.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is also maybe just we had another question that also came in on how do I know if a meeting, one of my meeting has been moved in Workplace Central. As David has said several times, it follows the the logic of changing of a meeting. So Outlook itself would actually provide you with a notification that your meeting has been changed to another meeting room, another time, if that's the case. So there's always a notification flow going on.
Exactly.
We're running out of time, David. Again, if you have any questions afterwards, please reach out to us. We will always happily answer anything if we can, of course, but please reach out to us.
Yeah. Can I say one extra thing?
Yeah,
because
please.
Before we go, I would like to share an extra tip that I think could perhaps increase the productivity in some cases for many organizations. So you can actually make Workplace Central part of your daily routine. Like Workplace Central being the tool that it is, showing every single activity happening in the workplace in the locations that you choose and allowing you to very easily manage meetings, also suddenly becomes a tool that you need to access right here, right now, because someone came with a request. So how can you actually make it easy to access other than, just setting a bookmark in your browser? Turns out that every single browser has the functionality to make Central look like an app. So kind of install it as an app alongside the other programs that you have in your computer. And no matter if you use Mac OS or Windows, you can actually make Central part of your login flow, so that when you turn on your computer in the morning, Central will load and will be available for you to not only get an overview of what will happen during the day, but also to stay there and to be easily accessible for whenever you need it the most. And it doesn't get lost in all the browser windows that you have. I have placed some instructions here that I'm not going to go over right now, but just so you know that this is a possibility, and that we would very much invite you to try it, because I really believe it's a productivity hack.
Absolutely. And I think that's a brilliant overlap to the absolute final and last note, because this little extra tip from David, we don't expect that you just go and do this by yourself, but please reach out to your customer success manager or our support, or David or myself. We will gladly help you. And I think just in general, with Workplace Central, it is available now. So if you find it interesting, please contact us. Please contact your customer success manager, contact support. We will gladly help you with the knowledge on how to get started with Workplace Central. And I think it's important to say that this is a part of your already paid licenses, so we will not come and charge any extra for Workplace Central. So if you find it valuable, please start using it. It's a brilliant tool. And then a small promotion in the final end here. We have just created a new AskCody community based on feedback from customers. You can find us on LinkedIn, AskCody Community. We will make sure that you can network with other customers here. We will create events. We will share knowledge about the platform. So if you find it interesting with this type of content, please go and find us on LinkedIn. We hope to see you there. And I think that should be the final note, David.
I think so too.
Thanks a lot for joining me in this webinar, and thank you guys for listening in. I hope you loved it. It was great for us, at least, to be here and present this. So take care and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.